What's up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. And guys, today we are talking about nose tackle Alim McNeill out of NC State. And guys, this is one of my favorite prospects to talk about. I mean, really just one of my favorite style of interior defensive lineman. Just a fun guy to watch in my personal opinion. Let's pull up the stats here for you. He's 6'2", 320 pounds, got 10 sacks in his career, 2 forced fumbles, an interception, and 77 tackles. And he is just a junior coming out and going to be a really exciting prospect, and a guy I think is an absolute lock to be a day 2 pick. All right. And that's tough to say with like the style of play that he has. I mean, this is a nose tackle type of guy. He played 87% of his snaps over the center. You don't get a lot of that in college. You don't see a whole lot of that. That's what this dude does, and he's a whole lot of fun to watch. So let's get into the skill chart right now for you so we can kind of break this player down. We'll start off with burst and first step at a 6.3. Very good grade for me. Gets off the line really well. His speed to extension is so good, right? Like his ability to get into his stance and extend his arms back on the center or guard, whoever he's facing, is so quick. I mean, it's probably the fastest I've seen of all of the defensive linemen that I've watched up to this point. I haven't watched everybody yet, but I mean, just really impressive. Speed to extension is a huge plus, and it's actually a really big thing that scouts look at. So I mean, that's a big positive grade for me. Read and react at a 4.9. It's a positive grade for me overall. Like there was never really a point where I thought he didn't know where the ball was. At his position, it's not like the biggest thing for me. Like I'm not like super worried about it with especially like the style of game that he plays, but he could certainly stand to do a better job of sealing off blocks and maybe using his leverage and using his ability to move the pocket to his advantage or to the defense's advantage a little bit more than he does. But overall, it's a good grade. It's a fine grade. Versus the run at a 7.5. Yes, this is a super positive grade for me. You know, this is a guy, he is a space eater. He's a guy that, like, if you need a nose tackle, if you need somebody to play that 3 technique, but you want a guy who can just eat up double teams and have your linebackers flow to the running back, this is your dude. This is my dude. Like I am a huge fan of McNeill. He'll certainly be my number 1 nose tackle off the board, although I don't grade a lot of nose tackles, to be totally fair. But I mean, yeah, so good against the run. His play strength 7.6, elite grade as well. Dude is just a strong, powerful guy. He doesn't lose. Like he's never getting pushed off the line. Doesn't matter the situation. Didn't see it one time. He at the worst it's a stalemate, and it's 50-50. And more often than not, he is pushing the offensive lineman back. I mean, that's just the way it is. Athleticism at a 3.5. I mean, come on, guys, that's not his game, right? Like he gets off the line fast, but his lateral quickness is not like special by any means, and that's not going to be his game. That's not what I'm expecting him to do at the NFL level. So 3.5 negative grade, but like, okay, who cares? Hand usage. This is very good. As I mentioned earlier, speed to extension is so good. I would say he could definitely do a better job of his counters, especially, but he is strong, he's powerful, and like once he gets his hands inside your shoulder pads, he kind of controls the play from that point forward. So hand usage at a 5.7, very good. Leverage at an 8, that is an elite grade for me. I mean, he will stand up blockers, I believe, at the next level very well. This is a guy, you know, not going to be getting a ton of stats. Like he's not going to be a guy that like the average fan knows about, especially if it's not on your team, but he is a dude who will eat up blocks and will be a big piece of the run defense, especially, and just their defense in general. I mean, he's going to be the reason your linebacker gets 80-90 tackles. I mean, he's going to be the reason your defense is able to flow to the run game or flow to the running back better. That's his game. He's elite in that category. Tackling at a 3.7. Look, he had 77 tackles in college. I put this as a negative just because it's more really not his game more than anything else. Like I don't think he's a bad tackler. I think at the college level, you know, he matches up well at times where he's going to be able to get free and bring down the running back. I don't think he projects to do that a whole lot at the NFL level, but you know, I also don't think like he's not just going to not tackle. Like, he can tackle, it'll be fine. So like again, we're talking about a nose tackle. We're good. It's fine. Flexibility and bend. This is something I would like to see be better. I wish was better. But it's not. You know, I did a video on like a Christian Barmore out of Alabama, and I talked about his ability to squeeze and bend and fit through tiny gaps, and kind of he had like this tenacious ability to get to the quarterback, and that's kind of like what I look for from defensive linemen, defensive tackles, especially when it comes to bend. Obviously defensive end, we know what that is, but from like the interior defensive line position, I just look for your ability, kind of like, do you have loose hips, do you have loose shoulders, like are you able to squeeze and maneuver your body in a way that helps your team out or helps you out? No, but I mean, that's okay. Motor at a 5.5, never saw him give up in a play. That's not an issue at all. I'm fine with that. That's a plus grade for me. Technique at a 6.5. Yeah, like I don't think like there's anything technically terrible. And again, like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be like a technique expert of the nose tackle position. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to understand like the dynamics of all the little things that goes into, mirroring your hands to your feet and all of those other little details. Like I understand it at a base level, and I'm certainly sure he could improve. There's always improvement to be made in that regard. But like overall, I didn't have an issue with it. There was nothing like that I thought he needed to, like, there was no gaping hole in his game that I noticed. So I'm good with that. Pad level at a 6.8. Yeah, I mean, it's just part of his ability to gain good leverage. He's actually a smaller guy. Like at 6'2", he's probably going to be smaller than a lot of these offensive linemen that he faces in the NFL. So he's going to be able to get under their shoulder pads and just, drive them forward. That's going to be his game a little bit, especially like in one-on-one blocks. Jesus Christ, he'll be pushing that pocket constantly. So that's going to be fun to watch. I love guys like that. I had a whole lot of fun watching this film. I implore you, like, if you just are a nerd about loving football and love the defensive line position especially, and you just want to see a dude win, I mean, this dude wins. That's what he does. He is a road grader. He is a space eater. He is a big physical monster of a man who will make your interior offensive line hell. And if you face a team at the NFL level that has suspect play from the center or guard position, yeah, McNeill's gonna eat, and he will eat all day long. As far as like where I see him going in the draft, it's so hard. The positional value of a nose tackle, like he doesn't have the athleticism or the like explosiveness that you would want to see from like a 3-tech. I'm not asking him to play 3-tech consistently. And if you're asking him to play 3-tech, it's not like your traditional 3-tech. You're asking him to take on a double team between the guard and the center. Like that's what you're asking him to do, or the guard and the tackle, whatever it is. Like, I mean, you're asking him to eat up blocks so your linebackers can flow. I mean, that's what you want, and I've said that a handful of times, so I've kind of beat a dead horse there. Where it comes into a question like, where does he get drafted? The Cowboys are like the first team that comes to mind for me that makes a whole lot of sense as a team that could use a guy to eat up some blocks. So their linebackers, who I think get bad rap, I think their linebackers are pretty good overall. Van Der Esch obviously was hurt a lot last year, but like Jalen Smith is a really good player who I think gets a bad rap because he's not like great in the run versus the run, but also he doesn't get a whole lot of help from the interior D line, especially last year. So that would be a big thing. And it's like, if I'm Jerry Jones and I'm pulling the trigger on McNeill, I wouldn't have a problem doing it in the second round at all. I think you're going to get the value long term for him. I think I don't see a way where he's a bust. Like I don't see, like, from the skills that he has and the tools that he has, it's not going to fit every team, but like I don't see how he's a bust. Like that's just kind of what it is for me. The positional value though is another question. I don't know where that ends up putting him. I would be surprised if he fell out of the top 3 rounds, but it's possible just because teams could value other things. But he's going to get drafted and he's going to be a good player for an NFL team for a long time. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And guys, if you've watched this channel before and you have recognized a slight difference between this video and other draft profiles in the past, no film portion. Yeah, I want to get as many of these videos out as I possibly can, and the film portion of the videos take probably 60 to 65% of the time it takes to put these videos together, and they already take kind of a good bit of time. So I decided to cut that and make them a little bit shorter, but hopefully more digestible and more of them coming to the channel, and hopefully that is a net positive overall. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Check back for more videos soon. Peace.